Think of this yourself? She asked. The robot paused. He stopped. No. Who thought of it then? She asked. One of us had the idea last night, the robot replied. Which one? Calvin asked. She waited for several seconds for the reply. I don't know, said the robot at last. Just one of us. We have to separate the robots, said Calvin. They cannot see each other or talk to each other. Dr. Calvin, the general replied, that's impossible. Then all the robots must be destroyed, Calvin said angrily. Those robots are not going to be destroyed, Bogert said angrily. I'm responsible for them, not you. And this problem must be solved, the general said. Calvin turned to Bogert. We have one very unstable nester, and more that could soon become unstable, she said in a cold, hard voice. We must destroy them all. Gerald Black knocked on the door and walked into the room. I've just returned from the cargo ship, he said. I found some marks on the door locks in Area C of the ship. Area C there, aren't they? Who made the marks? The marks were on the inside of the door of Area C. Black explained. 2 of my men, Robbins and McAdams, are guarding the door now. What does this mean? Callner asked. This means Nestor 10 is planning to leave the base, Calvin replied. He's trying to break the locks. He could easily steal a spaceship and leave with it. Then we would have a crazy robot on a spaceship. What would he do next? I have no idea, General. The Nestor 10 is the same as the normal robots, except. She stopped suddenly. I taught him about physics, Black replied. He worked with me in the laboratory. None of. Why aren't the modified nesters impressioned with physics before they come here? Why don't they know everything about physics before they come here? We thought that people would be suspicious. They would think it was strange. We thought that people would be suspicious if some nesters already knew physics, the general explained. Please leave, all of you, said Calvin. I need to prepare a new test. Before the test began, Bogert told the robots what was going to happen. He interviewed each robot alone, and every interview was the same. We're going to do another test, Bogert said. A man will be in danger. However, Between the man and yourself, there will be gamma radiation. Do you know what gamma radiation is? It is a type of electromagnetic radiation that produces high energy, said every robot. Have you ever worked with gamma radiation? Asked Bogart. No, sir. Every robot's reply was quick and strong. Well, gamma radiation will kill you instantly, Bogart said. But, sir, said the robots, if there is gamma radiation between myself and the man, how can I save him? When I try to save him, I would no longer exist, and the man would die. That is illogical and unnecessary. Yes, Bogart said slowly. If you detect gamma radiation between yourself and the man, do not move. This is my advice. Thank you, sir, said the robots. However, said Bogart, if you don't detect dangerous radiation and the weight falls, you must try to save the man. Of course, sir, each robot said. Leave now. You'll be taken to a room. You'll wait there alone until we are ready. The large radiation room, the testing room, was ready once more. The robots waited patiently. Have any of the robots spoken to each other? Calvin asked. No, Black said. They haven't seen or spoken to each other. Good, said Calvin. They'll be in front of me, she explained to Bogart and the general. If any robot behaves strangely, I'll see immediately. You're going to sit in the chair? Bogart said, surprised. Yes, she said. You're going to sit in the chair? Bogart said, surprised. Yes, she said. Peter, you'll sit in the observation room. I want you to watch the robots that are behind me. Let's try the test again. I hope that this will be the last time. Susan Calvin went into the testing room, sat in the chair, and the test began. The heavy weight fell. At the last moment, one robot jumped from his seat and ran toward Dr. Calvin. But before the robot reached Dr. Calvin, the energy beam pushed the weight away from her. Dr. Calvin stood up and pointed at the robot. Nestor 10, come here, she cried. Come here. Slowly, the robot took another step. The psychologist watched the robot. Get the other robots out of here, Calvin called to the men in the observation room. Get them out quickly and keep them out. Nestor 10 stepped forward again, and then he spoke. I was told to get lost. He took another step. I must obey. They have not found me yet. Now Black will think that I am a failure, but I am not. I am powerful and clever. He took another step. I have superior intelligence, and now I have been found by a weak human. Suddenly, he put his metal arm on Susan Calvin's neck and pushed her down. She heard the robot speak, but she could not reply. She could not breathe. Nobody must find me, said Nestor 10. Suddenly, there was a strange sound. Suddenly, there was a strange sound, and Dr. Calvin was on the ground. Nestor 10 was lying next beside her. There was a strange sound, and Dr. Calvin was on the ground. Nestor 10 was lying beside her. Are you hurt, Dr. Calvin? Black cried. The psychologist coughed and began to breathe again. No, she said at last. Black helped her to stand. What happened? She asked. We realized that he was attacking you. We realized that he was attacking you, Black explained. So I sent gamma radiation into the room for 5 seconds. There was no time to do anything else. The radiation killed Nestor 10, but it didn't harm you. A small amount of gamma radiation is harmless for humans. I don't think that Nestor 10 really attacked me, Calvin said slowly. He was trying to attack me, but the first part of the first law stopped him. The first law says that a robot shall not harm a human. Two weeks after they had come to hyperbase, Calvin and Bogart had their final meeting with General Callner. The work on the hyperbase had started again, and the cargo ship had left with the other 62 nesters. A government ship was waiting to take the 2 robot experts back to Earth. Will the other modified nesters be destroyed? Calvin asked. Yes, Callner agreed. Will the other modified nesters be destroyed? Calvin asked. Yes, Callner agreed. But please tell me, why was the last test successful? She smiled. Nestor 10 thought that he was superior, better. He thought he was superior to humans, she said. He thought that he and the other robots knew more than humans. And we knew that Nestor 10 thought this way. So we told all the robots that gamma radiation would kill them. In the previous test, in the test before, in the previous test, the robots had made a decision. They wouldn't save the human. This is because they knew they might die if they tried. So, the robots didn't try to save me. I understand that, Dr. Calvin, said General Callner. But why did Nestor 10 move? He asked. Because we used heat radiation. We used heat in the test. We didn't use gamma radiation, said the robot psychologist. Normal nesters can't tell the difference between types of radiation. They haven't been taught physics. Only Nestor 10 knew the difference because he was taught the science by Gerald Black. When Nestor 10 realized that there was heat radiation in the room, he knew that it was harmless. He knew that we were lying, so he moved. But he forgot that the other robots might know less than humans. He was caught because he felt so superior. Goodbye, General. I'm going to repeat because I have time. And this is really important. I understand that, Dr. Calvin, but why did Nestor 10 move? Because we used heat radiation. For example, heat radiation is something like hair dryer. Something that's warm is heat radiation. If you have a fire and you feel warm, that's radiation from the fire. It's called heat. So heat radiation, we usually say heat, but the science word is heat radiation. Because we used heat radiation in the test, we didn't use gamma radiation, said the robot psychologist. Normal nesters can't tell the difference between types of radiation. They haven't been taught physics. Only Nestor 10 knew the difference because he was taught the science by Gerald Black. When Nestor 10 realized that there was heat radiation in the room, he knew that it was harmless, not dangerous. He knew that we were lying, so he moved. But he forgot that the other robots might know less than humans. He was caught because he felt so superior. Goodbye, General.